Today we are gonna talk about emotional childhood. What is it? So, this is something I am actually working on in my certification program. As you know, I'm in the certification program with Brooke Castillo. Hello, Delphine! And in this moment, we are talking about emotional childhood versus emotional adulthood. And what is it? What is this thing? Emotional childhood is when we give the responsibility of our emotion and thought to other people or external situations, circumstances. So we think that other people or the external world has a power in how we feel. So they can actually change the way we feel, which is completely wrong. And this is something they teach us when we are really young. So these kids make me cry because they say something mean to me, so he is mean, and etc. This is the kind of thing we learn since we are really young. But the problem in doing this is that adult people continue doing this. So they continue to create this reality where they think that other people or circumstances can actually make them feel in a certain way, which is not true, because as I always repeat and teach you, the only thing that can make us feel something is our thought and our emotions. So it's not other people, it's not circumstances, it's the way we think about the behavior of someone or the circumstances. So this is the first and super important thing we can learn if we want to take back the responsibility in our life. So if we want to create something, hello, as you come, please say hello to me, tell me who you are. If it's the first time you're live with me, tell me who you are. So this great thing to understand, this awareness we can get over our internal world can make us feel free, because we can actually create the life we want when we take back our responsibility. So let's say that I see myself in a situation or circumstance when I'm not happy. Oh, let's take COVID. I can totally think this is a horrible thing. I'm at home, this is a lockdown, I can't go out and wherever. Or I can actually change my thought regardless the circumstances. Now, so many of you are gonna say to me, yeah, Claudia, okay, I can change my thought about circumstances sometimes, but there are circumstances and external facts that I can't change. I mean, and we agree that the point is not changing the circumstances, but it's changing our thought. But there are so many circumstances and situations that are really no good for me. They're not good for me. Let's take an example of a woman living with someone with a husband that is violent. So in this case, what should I do? Should I change my thought about the circumstances and try to feel better about his behavior, or should I just change situation, just change my world? And this is where actually life is not always black or white. This is the paradox of life. We think things are only black or only white, but in reality there is all this gray world where we have to understand where is the balance between at what point I'm able to change my thought about the circumstances, and which is the point where I decide, I choose to change my situation if I can. There are also so many situations we can't actually change. I mean, COVID is something that is happening to us. We have no power over it. We can't change this situation. We can't change these circumstances, right? So the only thing we can do is try to manage and to master our thought in this situation. Is the only thing we can actually do, right? But again, there are situations in our life that we can actually change. But a thing that I always advise to my client is to try to change your thought and emotion before changing the situation. Because what is going to happen if you just change your circumstances, the situation, before doing an inner work and figure out what are your beliefs about the situation, is that the next time you're going to live something similar, you're going to live exactly the same history, the same story. You're going to tell yourself the same thought and the same emotion. So let's say you are in a relationship with a man and you're trying to change your thought about this guy. Something that happened to me, to be frank. I thought that I had power over my thought about this person and his behavior, and I was actually trying to change all my thought about the circumstances and this person, and I could manage this until a certain point, because at one point I had to realize that the situation wasn't good for me, and at that point I had to realize that I wanted something else, something different. But let's say that I didn't do this inner work. Let's say that I didn't become aware of all my emotion and my thought about this man, and I just say, okay, this is not the man for me. I changed the situation, I changed the man. Next, and then another man arrive, and exactly the same thing. It is exactly the same thing. I have the same thought, the same emotion. Why this happened to us? Because I'm sure I'm not the only one. This happened to us because if we don't do this inner observation and inner work about our thought and emotion, life is so perfect that she continued to bring us the same character in the story to make us work on the same wounds or beliefs. So the best thing to do when you really want to change a situation because you consider this is not good for you and this is not aligned with you, with your value, with your desire, try first to look at your thought and beliefs and your emotion according to the situation, about the person, about the circumstances, and then make a choice. So the important thing when we are in this situation where we are like, okay, I completely understand, Claudia, that I have power over my thought and I can decide how to feel and how to think about this man, about my work, about my sister-in-law. But I'm trying so much, so hard to change all my thought. And I actually achieve something. I change the way I'm seeing this person and the situation, but at one point I have to be frank with myself. I don't like this. So the point is also to be honest with yourself and try to figure out what do you really want. What are your value and desire that you can't compromise, you can't negotiate. If something is really important for you, if you have a desire, a willing, a value, and you realize that the situation or the person are not matching this desire, you have to be integrity. You have to prove you have integrity. I think this is the word. And trying to understand, okay, do I want to stay and try to continue to change my thought about it, or should I decide to leave, to change the situation? I want to choose to change my thought, or I'm going to choose to change the situation. And if you're going to choose to change your situation, please, before changing it, try to figure out how you feel and how you're thinking. Hello, Anne-Claire. Before changing the situation, because you have to become aware of what is happening, what are the thoughts you're having about this person and this situation, and then you're gonna change it. Then you're gonna be able to change the situation because you figured out what is not really working for you. So emotional childhood is when we think other people have the power to make us feel in a certain way. Emotional adulthood is when we realize and we are aware of the fact that we are the only one who can create our feelings So it's not the person who makes you feel sad, bad. It's your thought about the person and the situation. Now, the next step is trying to be aware of the fact: can I change the situation? Can I change my thought about it? Do I want to try to change my thought about the person, about the situation, or do I want to change the situation? And if I'm gonna decide that I'm gonna leave the situation because I can, sometimes we can't change situations, circumstances, but if I can, if it's something that I can change, I can leave, I can stop. Before, I'm gonna be aware of all the thought and the feeling I'm having about this job, this person, this relationship. Right? So it's amazing what we can understand after doing all this job. So try to ask yourself today, what are the thoughts you're having about someone in your life, and what are the things, the expectation? Because this is something really, really interesting. We all have a manual, so a list of things that people have to check. Like, I want him to bring me flower every day so I can be happy. So let's try to list all the things that people in your life have to do in order to you to feel happy, loved, important. And it's okay. It's okay to have a manual. It's okay to have expectation. The problem is when the person in front of you is not answering this, matching this expectation, and you feel bad about it. Everybody has a manual. Everybody has expectation. The problem is when you attach an emotion to it. Let's say you ask your husband to bring you flowers and it doesn't, and you feel upset. You're not upset because he's a bad man. You're upset because of your thought. And if it's not matching your expectation, the only thing you can do is try to deal with your emotion. Of course, you can talk with your husband and ask him to bring you flowers. You know, I would love you to bring me flowers sometimes. It would be amazing for me. But if he doesn't, because he's an adult and he has the right to do it, you can't be upset about it. You can't. It's your job to deal with your emotions. And this is the hard part. Because believe me, it's a work that I'm still doing on myself. To catch myself when I'm thinking, oh, I'm so upset because of this and that. And realize, wait a minute. If this person is not responding, answering, matching my expectation, it's my job to take care of my emotions. What do I want to feel? I want to feel important, loved. Okay, I can feel loved and important by myself. Now, again, you have also to understand where is the integrity. You have to be is a word I can't say in English. You have to be true to yourself, honest. Let's say it like this. Better. You have to be honest with yourself and have clear your desires and your value, core value. Because at one point, do you want to stay in this situation again? Because of course you can change your thought about the fact that your man, your boss, or the other people are not matching your expectations. Of course you can do this job, this internal work of changing your thought. But also, for how long are you willing to do it? Because if it's a real effort for you, so maybe not. It can be easy. It can be, wow, I'm changing the thought I'm having about this person and situation, and it's great. But sometimes it asks us a lot of work and effort, and if it's a lot of work and effort, are you willing to continue to stay in the situation, or do you want to change it? Because you can't totally change it when the situation is changeable. And if it's too much effort, let's change the situation. But before, let's check our thought and emotion. Why I am feeling like this? Maybe it's touching my value. Maybe it's touching the fact that I don't feel enough. So I want to change this belief. I want to change this belief that is saying I am not enough, and then I will change the situation of person, of job, of whatever. It's amazing. It's an amazing job. So first of all, figure out what are the manual you have of the person. Like you can take your parents, your boyfriend, or whatever. What is the expectation and the manual you have for this person? How can you give yourself those things? What are your core value and desire? What are the things that are non-negotiable for you? Like, I want in my relationship to a man that can communicate. This is something I want, and I can't negotiate about it. So, is this possible in this relationship? Yes or not? What do I want? I want to change. I want to stay. Because if you choose to stay, don't blame the other person for everything. You have to do this. Don't try to change people. Stay and take responsibility of your feelings and thought. And every time you have a manual, I need my manual. I'm asking this person to change. I'm asking this person to do this and that. It's my responsibility to deal with my emotions. And yes, you can ask people to do something for you. You still can. But if they don't do the thing that you wanted them to do, don't be upset about it. They're adult and they can do whatever they want. And believe me, I had to learn this lesson. And at one point, I just decided to change my situation, the person. That's it. Because it was too much work for me. It was too much work for me to stay in the situation. So I look at all my thought, all my beliefs, all of my emotion, all my desires, and I took a decision. This is not good for me. It's okay to end it. That's it. It's a big work. It's amazing when we are able to see ourselves having this manual for people. I have a manual for my parents. I have a manual for the man I was seeing. I have a manual for my friends. And in the moment we realize this, we can also drop it. They can act wherever they want. They can do whatever they want. And every time we are aware of this, we can correct ourselves. We can give ourselves the things that we want to have. I want to feel important, loved, and appreciated. You can give yourself those things. Because the way you feel comes from your thought. So change your thought and you will change your emotions. And yes, again, you can also change the person or the situation if you think that is not aligned with the things that you desire. But be careful. One thing is desire, one thing is a need. You have to take care of your need. And you can decide to be with someone just sharing your time. You don't have to do something for me. We can just share time. And if it is work for you, it's great. I would like you to talk to me when you came back from work. And the other person can actually say, when I come back from work, I just want to silence. I want to, decompress. And you can say, and you don't have to be upset about it. Yeah. So it's an amazing work you can do. I hope this is helpful. If you think there is someone in your world who needs to listen to these things, please share. I would be grateful. Please tag your friends if you think that this is something they have to listen. And I will see you in another live with another content. And I wish you a very beautiful day or night. Bye.